this is truly a family sport.
Mm-hmm.
Your sister's 7.
Yeah.
You're 16.
Yeah.
Dad's 40-ish.
Yeah.
Mom's 21-ish, and your other brother's 13.
Yeah.
And your Mimi is literally 65-ish.
Yeah.
Like, and she plays daily.
Yes.
Like, and she's hardcore.
Yeah.
Probably in Europe playing pickleball right
Yeah.
now. Like, legit. It's crazy.
100%.
Hello, welcome back. We are live here with Coach Tommy. It's another beautiful podcast of Smashing Plastic at the farm. I have an awesome guest I'm going to introduce you to. His name is Cannon Quarter. Cannon Quarter, how are you, sir?
Doing good. How about yourself?
Good. Tell us a little bit about who you are, how old you are, and then we'll kind of go from there. So first and foremost, who are you? How old are you?
So my name is Cannon Quarter, obviously, and I'm 16 years old.
16 years old. So 16 years old, and you are here to talk about the beloved plastic ball smashing game that we call pickleball.
Yes, sir.
With that being said, let's start with a very simple question. How did you start pickleball? Do you remember your first time playing pickleball?
Yeah, so you were the one who really got me into it.
Me. Okay, go ahead.
But before you got me into it, it was actually my grandma who I first heard it from.
Got it.
So she was like playing pickleball before like the whole phenom happened and everyone started playing and stuff.
Okay.
And this was probably like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
Like it was a while ago. And she just told us about it one day and we were like, I mean, you hear pickleball and you've never heard about it before. And like, you're like,
right. Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah.
And she told us about it. And then maybe a year after that, for Christmas, she actually got us a net and a set of paddles for our family.
Okay.
So that's when we kind of like first started playing. And then we kind of just stopped because we didn't really know anyone or like where to play or anything. And that's sort of whenever you tagged onto it and started getting into it. So you were the one that kind of got us into it. And then we'd go out and play with you. And then also baseball tournaments,
right.
Going out of town and having days free time. And we just go out, hit, find wherever we could play. So that's kind of how I got on this path.
So realistically now you're probably on, I don't know, 2 years, that we've kind of been hitting this thing with a plastic ball. I want to hit on the family. So tell us a little bit about your family so people understand how many are in this household that you've got.
So I have a brother who is 13 and then a sister who's 7 and then my mom and my dad. My dad is really into pickleball. He tries to play probably every day, at least every other day. And then my brother also plays pickleball whenever he can. And then we've actually got my sister starting to play pickleball now. So it's kind of my whole thing. My mom, she's played one time, but she's not really into it as much as the rest of my family. But my family loves pickleball.
So that's one of the things that we talked a little bit about in our last podcast was the fact of how the dichotomy of the family and age. Like there's really not other sports, and I'll hit on you in a minute with other sports too. But I do want you to kind of, reiterate the fact that this is truly a family sport.
Mm-hmm.
Like the entire family can participate in an athletic activity in your home.
Mm-hmm.
Your sister's 7.
Yeah.
You're 16.
Yeah.
Dad's 40-ish.
Yeah.
Mom's 21-ish, and your other brother's 13.
Yeah.
And they all somehow or another can play the sport.
Yep.
That to me is one of the most remarkable things about pickleball is the fact of just how fundamentally sound you can be from 7 years old all the way up to 47 years old, 77 years old. And your Mimi is literally 65-ish.
Yeah.
Like, and she plays daily.
Yes.
Like, and she's hardcore. Yeah. Probably in Europe playing pickleball right now, like legit. It's crazy, right? It's a really fun thing. All right, with that being said, so I want to know a little bit about background. I know these people do too. Other sports that you play. So you are not a tennis guy.
No.
At all.
I've never touched a tennis racket.
Never touched a tennis racket, but you can play pickleball.
Yeah.
So tell us some of the other sports that you play, and then I'll brag on you from there.
So my main sport is baseball. I've played baseball since I was like 5-6 years old.
Okay.
Like every year. That's
your
my
main
true
deal?
sport.
Okay.
And I don't know, something about like the hand-eye coordination of baseball I feel like has really helped me with pickleball, seeing the ball off the racket. And I also used to play basketball, so I don't know, maybe lateral movement, getting around the court and stuff. So even though it's not tennis, I feel like it really translates and it's really helpful for pickleball.
I agree. Just to give you guys a little bit of background. So Cannon Quarter is, and this is, I'm going to speak this, Cannon Quarter is probably by far one of the most up and coming baseball players that's in the state of South Carolina. You heard it here first. I'm telling you right now, kid's going to be the best hitter in the state of South Carolina his senior year. Mark my word. He is a travel baseball player, has been with me since he was knee high to a grasshopper. I've seen the kid literally develop into what you see now, which is a grown man in a 16-year-old body. It's pretty impressive that he can do what he can do on a baseball field. But I will say the leap that you have taken in pickleball from just a year ago to today is night and day, right? You would
Yeah,
agree with that.
100%.
So on a playing level, to give you an idea of where Cannon is, and we'll do some skills and drills and stuff later so you can kind of see a little bit of just how skilled this kid is. But he's probably, I would say, 4 to maybe 4 or 5 right now. You think that's fair?
Yeah.
I don't want to overdo it. Um, and you've done that almost within a calendar year of just, and it's not like you're not drilling
Yeah,
every day
yeah.
here. You know, like, yeah,
Yeah.
I know you, you know what I mean? Like you're not, but you have played enough and you are now starting to get to the point to where you understand the tactics of
Mhm.
pickleball more so than just whack-a-mole. You know what I mean? We're not out here just
Yeah.
trying to hit somebody as hard as we can.
Yeah.
That's not what you're doing. You're literally understanding what you're trying to do. Give us some insight though on the competitiveness of, say, playing a pickleball match as opposed to us going and, playing a state tournament or somewhere that we're, across the country playing baseball. Is the competitive juice is still there?
Yeah, it might even be more competitive. I mean, especially when I'm playing with you and, like, against you and we can talk to each other.
Or at each other?
Yeah,
Yeah,
at
yeah,
each other
yeah,
and just smashing the ball at each other
yeah.
and playing. Like, it is really competitive and sometimes way more competitive than traveling around the world and playing.
I definitely concur and I agree. And I like the aspect of that because it's kind of cool too, to where like when I get to see you and your dad, you know what I mean, kind of either I think it's funner for me when I see you guys playing against each other as
Yeah.
opposed to with each other because it's so cool to be able to play a sport that you can truly compete against your parent, right?
Yeah.
You agree?
Yeah.
It's that to me is like one of the funnest things that I love about pickleball. My son plays as well. He is one of Cannon's best buddies, and these two together are something to watch when they're on a pickleball court, and they will continue to grow. All right. With that being said, I want to talk a little bit about the beloved world of high school and where you see pickleball going. So,
Yeah.
as you know, Smashing Plastic is our brand. We're launching rock and rolling facilities, all these visions of grandeur that we have this coming. But one of the biggest things that I am an advocate for is getting pickleball to be a high school sport, like a
Yeah.
legitimate South Carolina High School League sport. With that being said, do you foresee in the near future where your age group could legitimately play high school for your school, as pickleball
Yes.
for your school? You could.
Yes.
So, whoever you are out there that hears directly from a 16-year-old that this is a true thing. It's not a fad. You agree? Like
Yeah.
you could see this being here to when Lenny is in high school
Yeah.
being a pickleball player for her high school.
Yes.
I do too. I'm hoping and praying that is on the horizon. We're going to do whatever we can on our end to make that happen. One of the things that I would like to suggest to help you guys with this is pickleball needs to be a fall sport. I could give you 47 reasons why. The most important reason why is because baseball players are by far the most athletic individuals on the planet,
Yep.
and they need to be able to play fall baseball without their baseball coach in the spring having a heart attack that they're playing something like football that could get them hurt. Pickleball, no contact, no throwing, but most importantly, super fun. You can do it just about anywhere. Needs to be a fall sport. The other reason, and I don't really have a whole lot into this world, but you get your tennis people. Your tennis people, that's a spring sport, right?
Yep.
100% in high school. So if the tennis stars can play pickleball, and we all know how easily they convert over to pickleball, that now gives you a whole nother pool of player that they can be in fall shape, ready for the spring playing pickleball. And who knows, there might be some state titles, you know what I mean, at the old fort here soon if we can get you guys an actual pickleball
Yep.
uh, legitimate school sport, which would be awesome. So if you're out there and you can help with that, DM me, message me, whatever I need to do. We will come and solicit whatever we got to solicit in order to make that happen because pickleball needs to be a high school sport in the state of South Carolina sooner than later. Agreed?
Agreed.
Okay. What does it take, Cannon, for pickleball to make the step for, and I think we're there or we're getting there. The thing that you started with was I didn't play with my grandmother at first because it was, quote, pickleball. It was
Yeah.
known as being,
Yeah.
quote, an older person
Yeah.
sport. I'm not saying that to be offensive. That's what pickleball was known as 5 years ago,
Mhm.
4 years ago. I think we're on an upward trend for sure that the youth are in it. But what do you think it's going to take in your age group to make pickleball, quote, cool enough to where you could legitimately want to play high school pickleball? You want to go play pickleball after school. What do we need to do in order to do that?
Well, I think it takes just one person who plays, just inviting people out. I mean, I know the other day I invited 2 people out who never played before, and then literally the next day they went and they bought their own racket
Really?
because of how much they loved it. And high schoolers.
Wow. So the invitation, the legitimately, and we've hinted at this in our other podcast, the warmness of what it takes to invite people to come out and see how quickly they can pick up the sport you feel like is what's going to make the 13, 14, 15, 16-year-olds get out there on the court instead of on their phones doing absolutely
Yeah.
nothing in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So take this from his word of advice. Invite your teenager to go play some pickleball. And if you haven't played pickleball, go play pickleball. Take your kid with you. I promise you there is going to be somebody at the court. Heck, if I'm there, find me. But if you're at a court that's out of state or, hopefully out of the country somewhere listening to this, go get a paddle and go to your nearest pickleball court and invite somebody to come play with you. Beat it around, be ugly with it at first, because we all are.
Yeah.
And then after a few times out, you do pickleball 2 or 3 times a week. You start getting pretty good at it pretty quick. So please make sure that it happens for the youth. If we want the youth to get injected into the sport, you got to invite them out. And that might take a paddle, it might take a spot, it may take a little bit of work, but I promise you it's going to be worth it. You agree?
I agree.
Get ready to dive into a world of greatness with Smashing Plastic Pickleball. Elevate your game and look good doing it. From beginners to pros, we've got gear for every player. But that's not all. Planning an event? Let our experienced team make it a smashing success. Want to improve your skills? Our certified PPR professionals offer top-notch coaching, clinics, and lessons for all levels. Don't you wait. Experience the greatness of Smashing Plastic Pickleball today. Visit our store, join our events, and unleash your pickleball passion.
All right, we're back. We're going to get into some nitty-gritty on details. So one of the things that we talked about earlier in our podcast with Cannon is how quickly he has improved his game. Literally, within a year, kid has probably gone from a 2.5, we'll call it 3.0, to realistically 4.0, knocking on the 4.5 door. All day you can play with anybody at the 4.5 level. I would attest to that right now. For the beautiful folks that are listening and they're wanting to get better, we're going to highlight, give me 5 or 6 of your key tips of things that you have done over the calendar year that have helped you grow from saying 3.0 to the 4.0.
Okay. So when I first started, I just wanted to hit the ball hard.
As hard as you could.
As hard as I could, because it was fun. But then I realized, like, once I started playing against better competition or
Okay.
if I hit the ball hard, it's coming right back. Like, it's not really going to get by you.
Like hitting it at a wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally like hitting at a wall.
Yeah.
So one of the big things is, like, dropping the ball, like third shot drop in the kitchen, so that the ball ain't coming right back at you and you have your time to make your way up to the kitchen line. And just dinking back and forth and, like, hitting the ball easy in order to work your way up to the net.
Okay.
So then you can get a chance to finish, put the ball away.
Yeah, one of the things that you said there, and what we're going to process that a little bit, is you said I wanted to go away from hitting the ball hard, which is like the natural tendency for every single person that comes into pickleball. They just want to whack a mole and smack that thing, right?
Yep.
And then you get to the point where one day you're like, the ball's either going to be out or it's coming back at me so hard that I have no opportunity to even play defense now, right?
Yeah.
So key tip number 1, slow the game down. With that being said, you do not have to hit the ball as hard as you possibly can. Now, there are times where the drive is effective.
Yeah.
There are definite times where the drive is effective. And I feel like, well, this will be a whole nother podcast. With the paddle technology and the way that everybody's talking about this, it really is. Like, it's even different today than it was a year ago for you and I. Like, the paddles that we play with now, as opposed to what we were playing with a year ago, like, we're probably wearing a cup here pretty soon. Like, it's getting crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With that being said, hitting the ball hard is definitely not the solution in order to play high-level pickleball. That's the first tip. Second tip, the drop shot, the dreaded drop shot. Now, it is not one simple shot, right? Like, it's the ability to legitimately drop the ball into the kitchen area, or sometimes even into the kitchen area, further away from your opponent, in order for you to gain ground to the kitchen line. Give us a little bit of detail on what that looks like for you.
Well, the drop shot's difficult.
Okay.
I mean, when you have a serve, and then depending on the serve, you could have a hard shot with spin coming right back at you. But it's literally all about dropping the ball literally in the name, in the kitchen, so that your opponent can't hit it hard right back at you. So you stand a chance to get up.
I think one of the things that people don't understand, and you can give me some of your attest to this, the receiving team in pickleball has the advantage.
Oh,
you agree?
100%.
So if the receiving team has the advantage in pickleball and you are serving, that third shot drop for you is critical. Like, it really is something that you need to work on just as much as playing whack-a-mole out there. You know what I mean? Like, you've got to be able to drop the ball. I feel like what I have seen from you over this calendar year that is so different now is I don't really see you drive 50% nearly as much as you
Yeah.
used to.
Yeah.
Now it's literally all tactic to
Yeah.
get you to the net.
Yeah.
When you are at the net and you're playing the counterattack drill or you're doing the block drill that we work on, or that you're literally, now getting to the point where you're rolling, from the kitchen line, walk us through that on playing the net game.
So, I mean, if the ball's not in the air and the other team's dinking, you really don't want to speed it up.
Okay.
Unless they dink it really high and the ball bounces high and you actually have a chance.
Okay.
But if they're dinking, you're really not going to have a chance to speed up. And you're most likely going to hit it high and out, high and get it spiked at you,
Right.
or straight into the net.
So your mindset just a year ago goes from I'm speeding up everything to
Yeah.
now I'm speeding up practically nothing.
Yeah. And there's a time and a place like to speed the ball up. And that's where like working the kitchen works. Like you want to try to get their back foot or low enough to where they have to decide whether they're going to hit it in the air or off the ground. But like you don't want to leave it up. You're just trying to make them make the mistake of hitting it in the net or hitting it to where you can attack.
Folks, I don't know if you can hear how different it is from I wish you could have heard this kid talk a year ago, but to say things like I'm dinking at their back foot, it goes to show you how engaged he is in tactic. It's tactic at the line. It's tactic in pickleball. So if you ask me, Coach Tommy, what it takes to go from 3-0 to 4-0, it's that one word. It's tact. It's learning to understand what you're trying to do on the pickleball court and not just I'm hitting the ball and hoping that it goes in to the point where they can't get it, or I'm hitting it by them. I think when people lose the mindset of I'm hitting the ball by somebody, because we're baseball players, right?
Yeah.
Like we're baseball driven. We want to throw the ball by everybody. We want to hit the ball by everybody. In pickleball, it's the complete opposite of that. It's getting in angles and working touch and getting the point to where they make the mistake. I saw a statistic one time that said that 70% of points in pickleball are unearned. 70%. That's 7 out of 10 points are made by somebody making an error. That is, if we're baseball guys, so we love stats. That to me tells you everything that you need to know. So folks, if you want to go from 3-0 to 4-0, from Coach Cannon's mouth himself, it is tact, T-A-C-T. T-A-C-T. Learn how to operate and function the pickleball where you want it to go so that you can set yourself up to either one, put the ball away, or most likely they are going to make an error and you get the point. You agree?
Yeah.
All right, one last tip. So I'm a 17-year-old prodigy. I want to be a star. Give me one tip that you would give somebody in order to grow in pickleball. One tip.
Well, driving the ball. So we talked about like driving the ball. Yeah, you don't want to do it every time, but having a good drive to where you can have a little bit of top spin, getting the ball to dive, and working angles.
Okay.
Like if I'm driving, I don't want to drive it right at the person where their paddle is. Like that's an easy drive. I want to try to like work the lines. Like we said, angles, tactic, like up the middle, making them have to choose who's going to hit the ball, or in an out shot to the opposite side of the court. Driving is really important. Yeah, you don't want to use it every time, but I think driving the ball could be a critical part to upping your game.
I agree. And you getting practicing and learning how to roll the ball and making the top spin that you're talking about right now has changed so much, and it gives you the confidence knowing that you can go more location than pace, right? Like you're actually thinking more about the location of your drive than you are, I'm just going to hit this ball by somebody right now. Huge tip there. So more location, less pace, work on truly getting that top spin so that you can hit the ball from anywhere and it stays in the court. And I promise you, from Coach Cannon's mouth, you are going to win more points smashing plastic. All right, we want to take this time to thank Coach Cannon Quarter, the one, the only 16-year-old phenom. Literally, look up this name. Before we end, Cannon, do you have any handles? I know you're sponsored by a couple things. Tell us a little bit about who you're with right now. I know Head's talking to me about you. Smashing Plastic's already got you. But you've got a couple others, and most importantly, where can folks find you on the interweb?
Yeah, so one of the companies I'm sponsored by is UDX Underdog Athletics.
Okay.
They make apparel for athletes, baseball, football, basketball, arm sleeves, leg sleeves, headbands, shirts, shorts, all this stuff. And it's a Christian brand, which I really like and I'm a fan of because I'm a Christian myself. And I want to embrace that. So that's one of the other things that I'm sponsored by.
Awesome. So UD Athletics, what's your handle on are you on Instagram? Are you on the gram?
Yeah. Cannon Quarter 13.
At Cannon Quarter 13 on the Instagram. Look this kid up. I promise you this is not the first or the last time you're going to hear from this guy on a podcast or somewhere on the interwebs. Thank you guys all for tuning in to Smashing Plastic. We'll see you next time. Out next up, Coach Tommy's tip of the day. We'll see you soon. Hey everyone, Coach Tommy here. We are live with another tip for you here. We are working on our cross dinking drill. So if you've seen this video, I'm working on Jennings and I'm trying to do my best to make his feet move every single time that we are cross dinking. The reason this is important is I do not want him to understand the rhythm or the pattern of what I am doing. I want him to actually have to work to get the dink back over, which will then either one, lead to an error, or two, it will lead to a pop-up that I can put it away with. So when you are dinking, please do me a favor and stay out of the playing catch game. You're not there just to play catch. You are there to make your opponent move so that they are one, gonna error, or two, gonna pop it up to allow you to put it away. Just to give you a tip, if you are able to hop on YouTube at any time, we do have videos that are tied into all of these tips, which will definitely help you. You'll get to see some live video action of us working on the drills that everybody's working on right now to get better at pickleball and smashing that plastic ball.